All right. Live on YouTube right now. And if anyone has any audio issues, just let me know. Honestly, I've never even gone live on Facebook before. All right. Well, actually, I'm not gonna go live on Facebook. I'll set that up for the next one. But YouTube, Instagram, right now, going live. Actually, since no one's here right now, I'll set it up real quick. Should have set this up before. All right, but give me like 2 minutes, guys. You can play some music in the background. All right, sweet. I'm live right now. All right, I'm live YouTube, Facebook, IG. For some reason on Facebook, my camera's flipped. Let's see if I can flip this. I guess not. Well, maybe I'll fix it in the future, but because everything's all mirrored. But all right, so all right, I'm just gonna go hop into it. There's a lot of stuff I wanna cover, and yeah, today's gonna be about problems with modern dating. Sorry, I'll be sipping this throughout. Shout out to Clear American, best sparkling water. Love my sparkling water. None of that LaCroix stuff, but all right. Problems with modern dating. Man, this is a topic. Man, I bet you well, most people my age in the 20s, 30s, they've been dealing with it. Just how it is now. And I mean, people get married. Unfortunately, a lot of people get divorced nowadays, and they're anywhere from 20, 30, 40. They're divorced, and they have to go back into the dating game, and it's totally changed. And it's changed from a long time ago. Like even the concept. So I want to first, I'll mention kind of the main topics that I want to really focus on right now. So first, I want to talk about historical background of dating and just how it's really a new phenomena that's really developed just starting in, like, say, the 19th century. And because dating didn't really exist before then. And then going into courtship versus dating, traditionalism versus modernism, and then obviously the red meat, the stuff that everyone wants to hear, what men want, what women want, problems with that are holding men back, problems that are holding women back. Then the big ones, dating apps. Everyone loves those dating apps. I know you do. No, most people hate them, but people use them regardless, make a ton of money. they're a big platform for people to meet each other, especially nowadays in the online age. And then lastly, social media, which is, I'd say, the biggest one and one of the biggest causes for a lot of these problems that we're having right now. All right, let's see who we have. We got Trump on IG. Let's see. I don't even know if I can see like who's on Facebook, but and then we obviously got YouTube rolling right now. And everyone, this is going to be recorded, so in this I'll post this. So you stick around if you can. If not, it's all good. But it's going to be posted on all my platforms. But I think it's an important topic just because, like I said before, everyone in their 20s or early teens, honestly, all the way up till you get married, and fortunately people get divorced nowadays too, and they just have to hop right back into the dating market, and it's a lot different than what it used to be. But yeah, let's first start off on, so dating is a new phenomenon that really started in like the 19th century. So I did some research on this. I've been putting a lot of time into kind of developing these lives so they're informative as well as somewhat entertaining, and just because a lot of this information I didn't know before, and if I knew this information, and I think it's something that needs to be discussed, then I think the world benefits from it, especially my guys out there. So the earliest use of the noun date dates back to like 1896 when he was referring to public courtship rather than, I guess back in the day, courtship was mainly done in private in a residence or a court. So like a date, like everyone can see you going out to ice cream, going out doing something, ice skating or something like that. That I guess was considered the first time date, the term date was used. And it's really just like a new thing that we've had starting in like 19th century, like I mentioned, 20th century, and now 21st century, where the internet and social media has literally changed the game when it's come to dating. And I'll get to that. But if you think back 200, 300, 400 years ago, even go back to the beginning of time, like people would court and people would trade, people would provide things of value in order to really get a mate, right? There was a lot of this concept of like love per se. I'm not saying love's a bad thing, like I'm all for it, but this concept of dating and getting married and like finding that mate for you to have your offspring is a relatively new thing for people. Because even back in the day, a lot of times, and still a lot of cultures around the world, where you have arranged marriages. So this happens typically in Eastern Asia, but they'll have one family meet with another family. All right, I have my son, you have your daughter, or vice versa, and this is the position of our families. This is the occupation of my son, occupation of my daughter. This is what they kind of bring to the table, and then they use the family as kind of almost to negotiate, to arrange the marriage, essentially. And it's actually pretty interesting. As far as divorce rates, only 4% get divorced, in contrary to love marriages. But I digress. That's a different topic for a different day. But the idea like of dating, going out, meeting, and getting to know 10s, 20s, hundreds of different people to find kind of like your ideal person is a relatively new term. So I want to go into courtship versus dating. Like I said, dating is a relatively new term, new idea, but courtship has been around for centuries. So the difference between courtship and dating, courtship, done a little bit of research on this as well, just because Gen Z or 1997. So I didn't really have a lot of this. I guess I could have asked my parents, but courtship. So difference between courtship and dating. Courtship more intentional. So hey, I want to court you. I want to marry you. I want to have a family. I want to have kids. So I'm going to court you. You go through these kind of like steps to eventually get married, have kids, and start a family. Whereas dating, you could say that there's a lot of different meanings to dating. So dating, I'm thinking about is like recreational. So like when people say they're dating someone, it could either be somewhat serious or it could be like totally not serious, like whatsoever. And that's where like the concept is definitely way more open. That's why I term it recreational versus courtship. It's like, all right, we both know our intentions, both of our intentions from both parties are made clear, and hey, we want to progress to eventually this end goal. Whereas dating is kind of like go with the flow, casual. So it's like dating, like, oh, like who are you dating? Oh, I'm dating multiple people, no one exclusively, type of a thing. So that's kind of like the differences courtship and dating. And we're kind of in this age of dating where I'm all for, and you need to, I think everyone should date a lot of people, especially dudes, just because they need to know what they like instead of dating the first girl that likes them back, and then you end up getting married. And don't get me wrong, a lot of people find their soulmate, even though I don't believe in soulmates, but they find their person and they're good. I'm like, okay, cool, good for you. But I'd say for majority of people, it doesn't really end up working out. And I've seen a lot of people not work out and kind of have to start their lives over again, unfortunately. But that's why you got to be smart and know what you like, know what you don't like, date multiple people, and take time doing it. All right, so that's dating versus courtship. All right, if anyone has any questions, you can put them in the chats. I'm trying to monitor all the chats right now, but I'll answer everyone's questions. Unless it pertains to what I'm talking about right now, then I'll just answer it. But I'll save those to then for the Q&A at the end. That's good. All right, traditionalism versus modernism. So we think of, especially when dating, you think of like traditional dating, and I'll go into traditional men versus like traditional women and modern men versus modern women as well, because that's an important topic. But traditionalism, you think of white picket fence. Of course, is more of like an American ideal, just because I was born in the States, grew up in Texas, so that's kind of like my background, how I was raised. So you have traditionalism, white picket fence. You have your husband, wife, one story, like 2-story house, like 3,000 square feet, 2.5 kids. You know how they say. And so that's the traditional. And also the traditional idea of dating is like super traditional. I'm thinking of like back like 1940, 1950, when like you take your date to the sock hop and to the school dance and stuff like that. Or even going back, say like 1700s, 1800s, and you have a woman who would drop their handkerchief whenever the soldiers are marching by. Then one soldier find this woman attractive, picks up the handkerchief, brings it back to the lady, and then that's when he makes his initial approach and he initiates the conversation. That's traditionalism. Now versus modernism, which is totally different. You got social media, you got the internet. It's like woman might give a signal. No, that's more traditional. Like nowadays, women don't even really give signals. Their signal, if you ask any chick what their signal is, it's usually like, I'll look at them for like an extended period of time, and that's it. Very few women will go up and approach a guy that they're interested in, just because they don't have to. Just because they have a lot of different options, and they'll have eventually a guy who's attracted to them will come up and approach them. Majority of the time, probably not attracted back to the person, but that's how it goes. But yeah, modernism, woman expects the man to approach, and I'm all for that. Like too, like a dude should like, if you want something, go out and get it, type of thing. But man, like woman expects a man to approach her, whether in person or sliding into the DMs. You got DMs now, and then you got dating apps. And then once you kind of make the initial approach, you start to get to know the opposite party. Then you're like, all right, we're in this talking phase now. It's like not dating, because when you're dating, it means you're official, you're like exclusive type of a thing. But you're talking. For a lot of times, it can be like weeks or months. I don't know how people do these talking phases where like they don't even meet each other and they're just talking. Or I don't get the idea that people need to, I need to be talking to this person for X amount of weeks until I go on a date with them. Like, no, like the purpose of me initiating the conversation is I want to go out with you, or else I wouldn't have talked to you in the first place, honestly, from a guy's perspective. So you have that stalking phase, and then you eventually get to like the DTR, like determining the relationship. It's like, all right, we're dating, we're official, we're exclusive, and it's this whole big thing. And don't even get me started on when chicks do the soft launches. They'll take pictures of a dude on it with his like hand. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Like a dude with his hand, like at like brunch, or he's like turned around. You can't see his face. You can see his features though, and maybe like his shoes or something. Like clearly you can't identify this person, but you know, and she's not clearly saying that she has a dude, but by her doing that, it's like, hey, I have a dude now. So the soft launch, man. So you go from like dating official phase after the soft launch, and then you have long period of exclusivity. Eventually, like leading to marriage. A lot of people don't even like marriage now. They're just like having kids. A lot of people don't even want kids, which that's a whole nother topic I'm not going to get into, but that's kind of like modern dating, which is totally different. I don't agree with the whole modern dating thing, but you know, it's just how it goes. You just kind of have to deal with it. Is dating and people ever going to go back to being traditional? Probably not. There's like a 99% chance it's not going to go back. So you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to adapt. My guys, got to adapt. You got to learn how these women work. You got to learn how to play the game, unfortunately, but you have to play the game. Okay, so that's traditionalism versus modernism from a dating perspective. Now, we always talk about traditional men, or let's talk about traditional men, traditional women. Traditional man's the typical dad. He's working a blue collar job. He's good with his hands. He can always fix stuff. He's manly. He's masculine. He's the one providing for the family, protecting the family. If the family's in any danger, he's the one there to protect them. And he's the one to kind of give them guidance and, you know, just like the traditional masculine man, which a lot of days now is toxic masculinity, which is just traditional masculinity, which I think is a positive for dudes. Dudes need to be more masculine. Now we'll talk about the modern man. The modern man, a little bit more beta ties, a little bit more, I guess, emotional, which there are times and places to be a lot of this stuff, but overall, guys just need to be like guys and just like, all right, dude, you need to level up, you need to do the work. Like you need to put in the work. You need to make something of your life. Modern men, it's just like, oh, I like doing this. I just like hang out with all my friends all the time. Like one of my tips I was talking about, don't be that guy who goes on all these trips with like 60 plus people and you don't even know like half the people. And it's like, oh, a friend of a friend invited all of us. And we're on these like boats and like Powell and stuff. I'm like, I mean, hats off to you people. And at the end of the day, people can do whatever they want, but it's like, where's that getting you in life? Like, I'm 100% a proponent of networking, but just like have like friends to like have a good time. You can have a good time, but like most people like smaller groups. You get to intimate, you get to know each other more, genuinely get to know people about their lives and about like what they like to do. If you're in a group of like 60 people, you can't do that. Anyway, I digress. But modern man, yeah, just like doesn't like really like manly stuff anymore, is more of a pushover, is more of like doesn't have his own opinion. I think that's a big thing nowadays. A lot of guys just don't have their opinion anymore, and you see this dynamic where like men are turning into women and women turning into man, and I'll get to that as well. Won't hit a bunch on that, but that's an important point. And then I guess I'll transition to more of the traditional woman, and I'm all for women that work, and I'm a proponent for women that work. And if you want to work, go ahead. If you want to have a career, go ahead. It's cool. If you want to be a mom, go ahead. That's cool. You can do whatever you want. But traditional woman is typically the nurturer and the caretaker of the home. Nowadays with work dynamics, that obviously shifts, but the traditional woman, feminine, not super disagreeable, and little bit more like cooperative, just because you need cooperativeness in a family as well, and just like in a business too. You have people arguing all the time, and no one wants to argue. Like when you go to work, both men and women, if you want to go to work, come home. You don't want to come home to the other spouse complaining all the time and arguing with you. That's like the last thing you want. And traditional women, they're happy, peaceful. They're just like kind, and they're happy to be around. They're usually like bubbly personality, and they're, like I said, nurturing. So they're very good with kids. They like kids. And I'm making generalizations. There's exceptions and there's rules. So I'm a big believer in that. All right, and the modern woman, this is where we get to it. Modern woman, the boss babes. I don't need no man. I make my own money. I get my own bag. Yeah, that's and like I said, anyone can do whatever they want. If you want, like, go. If you want to be a CEO, go be a CEO. If you want to make millions of dollars every year as a woman, go ahead and do that. But it's just very difficult to do all that and be at home, taking care of your kids, raising your kids how you want them to, rather than having a daycare or a nanny raise them. It's very hard to do both, if not near impossible. So there are trade-offs. And it's also harder to date and harder to find the guy that you want when you're older, make more money. Statistically proven that the older you get as a woman, the more money you make, the less odds you are of finding an ideal spouse. So everything's in the statistics. Okay, modern woman, the boss babe. Yes, that is the new wave that's coming around nowadays. All right, and this is a big thing too. You have a lot of these modern women, which, like I said, there's nothing wrong with being a modern woman. There's nothing wrong being modern man, traditional woman. They're all great. The thing is, you can't get everything you want, unfortunately. Typically, modern women, they're modern women themselves. They're this boss babe. They want to make a lot of money. They want a guy, hypergamy, right? Every woman wants a guy that's equal or higher level than them. That's just how it works. That's how it's worked throughout the age of time. Modern women, they're saying they want a traditional man, but they're not traditional themselves. Whereas a traditional man, he's probably looking for a traditional woman. Maybe a modern man is looking for a modern woman, but very, very few, if not no traditional men, which the modern women say they want, are looking for a modern woman. So keep that in mind. All right, now I'll go into what men want. It's super simple. I was talking about this with a girl, and she was like mind boggling. It's like, oh, men aren't that simple. Guys aren't that simple. I'm like, honestly, they kind of are. But yes, men want mainly three things. Of course, there's other things that are nice and you'd like, but you interview, like, I'd say 100 men, you probably say like 90, if not 95 of them probably want these three things, and they agree with me. They want fit, feminine, and cooperative. That doesn't necessarily mean submissive per se, but like I said, especially if you're a man that's providing for the family, you're going to work and stuff, last thing you want when you come home is someone complaining all the time, arguing. And like I said, like, that doesn't mean like a guy like doesn't like help out in the house. Like, he can help out in the house, he can help take care of the kids. But I was talking about with one of my friends earlier too. That's just like it's like a team effort when you come home, right? It's not you come home and you're done with your work job, which itself is very stressful, and the woman taking care of the kids is very stressful. But it's not like the guy comes home and the mom's or the woman's just like, all right, I'm done. It's your turn to take care of the kids. It's my turn to rest. It's a team effort, and don't want to be arguing when you get home. It's the last thing you want to hear, because you're probably hearing all that in the office or wherever you're working. And then obviously looks are very, like, that's probably the single, I should have started off with this. Looks to a guy, the single most important thing to a guy when it comes into like looking for a woman. Just because like at the end of the day, we're guys, it's just how we're wired. We're mainly about looks and attraction, and not just like physical like beauty, like face looks, but also like fitness, like being like hourglass shape and stuff, being healthy, being in shape, liking to go to the working out, being healthy, not super overweight, not obese. I mean, honestly, no one really wants that, an obese person, right? You want people to be healthy, and I'm proponent of people going to the gym and being healthy. And it's going to make your life a lot easier, a lot better when you're healthy. And then feminine as well. You don't, most traditional guys, most high value guys don't want a woman who's this boss babe and disagreeable and look what I bring to the table type of a thing. Just wants like a nice, pleasant, kind person to travel the world with, to have good, nice dinners with, to cook dinner with, to because eventually, like most guys are hoping. Depends on the guy. Some guys want to get married, some guys don't. I want to get married, but this is going to be like the mother of my children, so it's important. You want it her. I want her to be the yin to my yang type of a thing. Like I will provide, I will protect, I will be making sure I oversee that stuff in the family. And then as far as nurturing, she's going to be the nice one. She's going to be the kind one. I'm going to be the one to teach my kids. I'll probably be the harder one on my kids. Granted, I don't have kids, so that might change. Who knows? Because a lot of time that's the opposite between the husband and the wife. But yeah, fit, feminine, cooperative. It's pretty simple for guys. We're simple creatures. Guys are simple creatures. Now, what women want, this is a whole pack to unload. But let's see if we have any on the chat. All right. Sweet. Yeah. If anyone, like I said, if anyone has any questions or anything, put it in the chat. IG, YouTube, Facebook. But what women want. So honestly, a lot of times men don't know what they want. It's the number one thing issue going into dating. You go into dating not knowing what you want, and that's fine. I mean, like you date to like learn like what you like, what you don't like, what you want. But like I said, majority of men want those three things. Women, on the other hand, they want a whole slew of things. They have a whole shopping list of things that they want. Like I'm sure you've heard the 6'6s, the 6 feet tall, the 6-pack abs, 600 horsepower car, a six figure income, a couple other sixes probably won't talk about right now, but you've heard of them. And for the most part, a lot of it's true. But in the four F's, Bedrose Koulian, check them out. Great podcast, love his stuff. 4 F's that really has to that most women and most guys need to focus on are faith, fitness, finances, and those are no order. Fitness, finances, family, and faith. They want that stuff, like good relationships with your family, your people around you, in shape, healthy. Ideally, women do like muscular dudes. That's why I'm a big proponent of guys going to the gym, getting jacked. Not specific for the woman, but it's like the ultimate confidence booster you can have. Just being your body that God gave you, and you make the most out of it. You sculpt it. I think it's pretty awesome. And then the finances. You need finances to be successful in life and to have a flourishing family or relationship with whoever you're with. If you're always struggling for money, it's not good. That's not good. Like a lot of divorces are because of money issues, money problems, finances. So you gotta have your money on point. That's why you make money. And not only make money, because there's a lot of guys that make money. I know a ton of sales guys that make a ton of money. How much do they actually keep versus how much do they like just spend? So that's the key. Making money, and then I'd say arguably harder is keeping the money. And then faith. So whether you're religious or not, I'm religious. So faith, obviously, in the church is very important. So having your faith with God and with your testimony and with all the teachings of the gospel is very important. And making sure your faith aligns with whoever your partner is, just because it's going to be what you're going to teach your children. I want my kids to grow up in church and stuff, so that's super important to me, and it's usually super probably important to the woman as well. So faith, and then not only just like in a religious standpoint, but it's basically your purpose. Like, what is your purpose for life? What's your purpose for waking up, getting up every morning? What do you love to do that's making you get out of bed and going out into the world? Your purpose. So that's incorporation of faith as well. And then honestly, I'd say a majority of women do want to be a mom and have a family. And no matter what they say about like, oh, I want to work, I want to have a career, like, sure. And a lot of times they do. But they want to do that without the obligation of having to have to provide for the family. Like, whenever a woman has a child, like they have maternity leave, how many of them immediately after they have a child want to go back to work to provide for the family and pay the bills? Probably like close to 0% of women want to do that. And like rightly so. Like, what woman wants to do? Wants to stay home with the baby, take care of the kid. And if they have multiple kids, take care of all their kids, teach them, and have their stamp, have their mark on their kids. So they want the ability to work, but not the obligation to provide, which you guys have to understand that. And if you ask any woman, there's one girl I was talking to, I'm like, yeah, I think that whoever I'm with, they can do whatever they want. I'll be the main provider of the family. I'll provide and be such a good provider that she wants to do something, cool. She doesn't want to do something, cool. She can do whatever she wants. Wants to be a mom, stay at home with the kids, awesome. That's what I really like. But she wants to like start her little side business. She wants to do like this job, wants to be an accountant. Lawyer and doctor are a little bit more difficult, they're a little bit more time intensive. And that'd be difficult, just like that much time away from the family, like your mom from the family. But like basically whatever job she wants to do, cool. She wants to stay at home, doesn't want to work, cool. I'll provide. That's what most women want. You ask any woman that, and she'll be like, yes. Want the option, but not the obligation. And this is just truth. This is facts. All right. Now the issues holding back men and women. There are multiple issues. I'll start with I want to do ladies first. We'll do ladies first. Actually, let's do guys. Sorry. I'll do guys because I'm going to be way harder on the guys than the girls. Just because guys, they need it. Problems holding back dudes are, honestly, a lot of guys just don't really do anything with their lives. They don't really do anything with their lives. They just, like, stay home, play video games. They maybe have a job that they work. They come home, like I said, play video games. And I'm all for hanging out with the boys. I hang out with the boys all the time, but they don't have a purpose. They don't have like a goal they're reaching towards. Like I'm big into finance. I want to have a good finance career. And also I want to help dudes as well. That's why I'm doing producing this content for y'all. I want to help dudes level up. Like I say, stronger, smarter, faster, or stronger, smarter, healthier, wealthier. Level up yourself. Be the ultimate version of yourself. It's what God wants you to be. If you want to be a god, you gotta work on yourself. You gotta level yourself up. Guys just need to do that. A lot of guys don't have a purpose. They're just like, oh, I'm just doing this because my family does this, or like going into this business because my dad did this. Like even one of my really good friends, like kind of like did the same thing that his brother did. And he didn't really want to do that, but he just did it because his brother did. I'm like, come on, dude, like figure out what you want to do and just do it. So a lot of guys, yeah, honestly, just don't have really much going on in their life, and they're really striving for much in their life. And kind of almost like, put it bluntly, but a lot of guys are just losers. And like I said, they don't have their life put together. And there's nothing wrong with like initially living with your parents for a little bit, but like there's a reason why families and like parents, especially like your dad, is like your daughter, you can come home, you can stay at home as long as you need, type of a thing. Guys, it's just kind of like, all right, you're here for like a month and kick you out. You need to figure your life out, type of thing. It's just like how it is as a guy, reality. They don't have your life together, still living at their parents' house, don't have a job, living off their debt. They're out of shape. They're overweight. They have no money, credit card debt, car loan that they can't pay, bought too much of a car that they can't pay. They're not mentally there. And obviously, depression is real. Like I suffer from seasonal depression a lot. But a lot of that gets cured when you have a purpose and you have stuff you're striving and working for that's bigger than yourself. And I mean, my other point was like purpose and goals. I don't have goals. Like I set like fitness goals for me. I was bulking, wanted to lift as much heavy like weight as possible. Fortunately, couldn't hit it with the deadlift. I was super pissed, but I kind of like put on too much weight too fast. Couldn't get a PR on that. But literally 3 of my other 4 lifts, I increased it by 40 or 50 pounds. 40 or 50 pounds. Like, and don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy. Like, I am a very hard gainer, but at the end of the day, you just need to eat more food. I was eating like the last 2 weeks of my bulk, 4,000 calories a day. How many people are willing to eat 4,000 calories a day? It's not very many people. And not only doing that, tracking that, and granted, I was doing somewhat of a like not super clean bulk, but it wasn't a straight dirty bulk. So I had some lenience to adding in those calories, but I was hitting my protein goal every single day. It's hard, and going to the gym is hard, but you know what? Hard things have value, and when you do hard things, you're going to get pretty good results. Even if you don't hit the results that you really want to, you're going to get pretty good results, and you're going to see yourself improve from where you started from. So purpose or goals. Yeah, doing hard stuff. Yeah, guys need to go do hard stuff. And honestly, like some guys are just like not attractive, and there's not much you can do about it. Like you're born with like your face, and like girls, they can get all this like makeup and surgery done, and like guys, I mean, because you could like do that stuff too, but like the way guys level up, well, one, grow a beard, big proponent, grow a beard. It's like the guy's version of makeup, but just like leveling up your life. Like looks are important, but they're not as important as people think. But initially, for initial attraction, initial talking to someone, dating apps, which we'll get into, very important, if not the most important. Attractive. And there's a lot of things that come with attractiveness. It's not just like the side of your head, like the color of your hair, the texture of your hair, the size of your nose. Like it's not just that's not the only things that have to do with attraction, but how you take care of yourself, your style, like how you're dressing. Are you wearing clothes that fit you? Or are you wearing just like baggy, like crusty clothes all the time, with like holes and stuff in them? Are you washing your clothes? Are you smelling good? It goes in the grooming. Like, are you taking care of yourself? Are you trimming your beard? Are you lining your beard up? You're getting frequent haircuts, which is like, I need to get a haircut, so I'm getting a fresh cut on Friday. Still growing the hair out, but I'll get a nice fade to it. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you trimming your nails? Are you brushing your teeth? Are you trying to whiten your teeth? Like stuff like that. Simple stuff that you can do that actually goes a long way. You're going to the gym. You don't have to be a freak. Like, I love going to the gym. And eventually most dudes honestly get to that point because it's this cycle. It's like you lift to get bigger, or you lift because you feel small. And when you lift, you get bigger. And when you get bigger, you look at yourself and you feel small. And then the cycle continues and you just want to get bigger and you want to lift more weight. But you just got to level yourself up. There's things you can do, which I try to provide in my men's value tips with everyone, that really make a difference. And it's the little things all added up make a huge difference. So traction, style, grooming, fitness, all that stuff. And then, like I said, not having the 4 4s, you need to level yourself up financially, physically, mentally. It's like the shout out to Rollo. He always talks about it, and it's Rich Cooper. So definitely read The Rational Male. If you're a dude, read The Rational Male by Rollo Tomassi, and then read The Unplugged Alpha by Richard Cooper. Best 2 books you could ever invest in. The best $20, $25 you'll ever spend in your life. But in Rich Cooper's book, The Unplugged Alpha, he talks about money, games, status, looks, unpluggedness, game, and then the seventh one is captivation. It's like gives your life exciting. So if you level up those 7 ways, I have a weekly tip about that as well. You're just gonna have way better luck in the dating market. And trust me, I've done all this stuff, and literally, I look at myself 3 years ago, even 2 years ago, to where I'm at now. Like 100% total difference I see in myself, and then definitely my results. Like I have my good choosing of girls in the dating market. Granted, Provo, Utah here is a bubble, but when I was in my time in Texas as well, yeah, I had a lot more options than I did. And it doesn't mean like I'm this pimp, I'm the superstar, I'm this top G. I'm not the top G yet. I'm never going to be the top G, but I'm getting there. And it's constant improvement. There's always a way you can improve and you can get better, and life will just get better. All right, but summing up, men need to level up and improve themselves. And a lot of women complain about these guys don't have their lives together. A lot of that's true. A lot of these guys are losers and they don't have a purpose in life, and they're not really doing anything to help themselves out. Playing video games, going home, and watching videos. Granted, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, but I'm like applying the YouTube videos as like that I watch, eating all this junk food, all this crap. Yeah, it's not going to do you any good. Even watching sports, like I know, like I love sports. I watch sports a lot, but if you're spending all day just watching sports, not doing anything, then like, what are you doing with your life? Come on, improve yourselves. Life's like a video game. I'll have this one last tidbit, this last anecdote, this last story from my life on about like guys and problems holding them back in the dating market. Then I'm going to move on to women. Women, I'll probably be relatively short. But growing up, played this game called RuneScape. I'm sure you've heard of it. Everyone's playing it. Blue party hat. Didn't have one. Wanted one, but I played this game. Me and my cousin spent hours and hours on it. I literally played it like my friend in fourth grade. He introduced me to the game. Played it all the way through high school. Well, not like to the end of high school, but the beginning of high school. And then I started getting the basketball and like stuff that actually like real life stuff that helped me out in real life. It was like actually like mattered. But I played this game hundreds of thousands of hours I played in this game just to level up. I would literally like, my big thing was wood cutting. I'd literally like wood cut, like chop ivy or chop some yew trees, not just to like make money, but to level up so I could get to level 99, the highest level you get. I literally spent that for hours, and I would spend hours just like sitting there. Literally, my character would just be doing this for hours. That's all I'd do. Occasionally, all right, that tree chopped down, go to the next tree. It's literally hours, hundreds, thousands of hours. Then I realized, wow, like kind of like a couple of years ago, looking back on this experience, I'm like, wow, I spent like hundreds, thousands of hours doing this like game to level up. And you got stuff when you leveled up. You gain more experience, you gain more money, you gain more items to like, you can roll around this like the blue party hat. It's like it's like show off thing. It's like chains and stuff nowadays, but just to show off, to have a good time, to have fun in the game, to go to certain places, do certain things, kill certain monsters. And then I like relate this to real life. I'm like, dude, and it's like GTA 2. I love playing GTA 5. You just like get all this money, buy all these like cool sports cars, supercars, and stuff. Go and like buy this plane and do all this crazy stuff. I'm like, dude, why can't you just do this in real life? Spend all that time that you had just playing these video games, spend all these hundreds and thousands of hours, and then just apply it to real life. Why don't you like level up in real life, and you can do that stuff in real life? Sick. So it's my last tangent on dudes and what they need to do to improve. Prove yourself in the dating marketplace. All right, women, now hear me. This is important. Women, like I said, fit, feminine, cooperative. That's important. And to my boss babes out there, you do your thing. You do your thing, girl. Make that money. You don't need no man. Get that bag. I'm all for it. Go ahead. But it's not going to help you dating dudes. You know why? Because being that boss babe, you eventually become the man you want to be with or the man that you want to marry. The reasons are you make multi six figures, you have all this status, you have a really nice car, you have a really nice apartment or a really nice house, you have this nice lifestyle. And like I said, the way women work, the hypergamous, they want equal or higher in socioeconomic status. So you eventually become, and then doing all this stuff, you just gain a lot more masculine traits, like disagreeableness, assertiveness, aggression, just because you need that stuff in order to advance in the business world and the work world, just like what you need. You eventually become the guy that you want to marry. So you have all these stuff. The thing is, especially when you get older, and most of these women that have like a lot of careers, they're older, but then they're wanting someone kind of like their same age, maybe a little bit older, that has all the stuff that they have. But all this stuff that they have is kind of like the traits of a high value dude. And once they're older, these high value guys, they're just like with younger girls. Because like I said, the majority of guys just kind of want attractiveness. It's like the first thing that's like super important to dudes. Dudes like don't care about how much money chicks make or like what your career or lifestyle. Actually, I used to be like that. So I was like, whenever a girl was like, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a lawyer, I was like, oh, okay. I want to make this power couple. But then they kind of like realize, I'm like, wait a minute. If I'm going to be that too, that I kind of want someone to like the yin to my yang. I want someone to like be like more of the homebody, being able to take care of the kids and nurture, be the like come home from a tough day at work, there to like talk to, consult with, to soothe me, to be kind and stuff. That's what I need. And I don't need the other thing because it's going to bring, I don't want to bring problems back home, essentially. So for your boss babes out there, want to have these super successful careers, go ahead and do it. But there's a fair warning. You will have trouble, more trouble in the dating marketplace because your expectations grow higher, your standards grow higher. And as the more money you make, the older you get, the less options you have. Especially the less options that want you back. That's the main thing. All right, dating apps. Man, dating apps, everyone loves them, everyone has them. You talk about Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Mutual for my LDS people out there. It's the stuff. Nah, most people hate it. Honestly, and then the thing is, girls complain about it all the time. But honestly, it's more in favor of women because majority of the people that use it, well, actually, majority they pan to the woman for the apps, just because if there's no women on the apps, then it's not going to be successful. Because a lot of people that pay for this stuff are the dudes that pay for the plus and the premium. I don't pay for any of that stuff, but they've done research and statistics on this. I'm sure you heard of the 80-20 rule, 80-20 rule, Pareto principle, however you want to pronounce it. But it's like 80% of the output comes from 20% of the input, and vice versa. So they've done studies. OkCupid did a study. They found that 80% of women only find 20% of men attractive. That basically, and like swipe rights, essentially, the likes. So that means 80% of women find 80% of men unattractive. Because that's like the most important thing in dating apps when people think. Not the bio, not the description. Honestly, people care less about that. It's more about like, all right, this person's attractive, cool, swipe right. And 80% of women swipe right only on 20% of the dudes. Whereas vice versa, it's like 80% of majority of the dudes swipe on majority of the women. So just how it is. And also Tinder did a study as well. There was a Tinder study done as well that 10% of the most attractive men got 60% of the right swipes. 10% of men, 60% of the right swipes from women. Only 10% of men. So one out of 10 guys they're swiping on. The 60% of women. And then on the guys' side, we swipe on a lot more than that. 40%, 43% of attractive women get 60% of the right swipe. So a lot better odds. And this is all done on averages. So if you're the average girl, you're only swiping on 10% of the guys. And even sometimes even less. I've seen different studies where it's like down to 5%. Like one in every, or like 5 out of 100 swipes, girls will swipe right on. Dang, that's tough. That's why most guys don't have luck out there. And honestly, dudes, if you're not really like you find yourself in the top 20% of all guys out there, then you need to work on yourself. Computer's getting kind of hot. Work on yourself, get yourself up to the 20%, and then you can go back on the dating apps and really find your success a lot. You find a lot more success there. And then just like you've probably seen the videos of like the female delusion calculator, and then there's also a male version of it as well. I've played around with it too. But if you think about like a girl, you want like you're guy that you'd marry, you'd have kids with. So like obviously like the 6'6" like 6 feet tall, 6-figure income, stuff like that. We'll even like borrow down a little bit, and this is based off of the 2020 U.S. Census. So this is actual data from actual men in the U.S. So if you have a guy, I forget between which ages. Actually, I don't think this specific statistic has an age, but if you want a guy that's at least 5'10", at least making $70,000 a year, and that's like not married, it's like what are the chances of you meeting this guy? It's like 1 in point, and if you were to meet like compared to like all the other men in the world in the U.S., it's like 1.5%. So like 1 or 2 guys out of 100 guys are gonna be at least 5'10" and at least make $70,000 a year. And there was one more thing I forget. And they're like not married. That's crazy. And a lot of these girls that don't want 6 feet guys. Luckily, I'm 6 foot, so we're all good. I'm on my way to work making 6 figures, but statistics. I mean, 2 more statistics. Like, what's this percentage of men that are 6 feet or taller in the U.S.? Like Utah's different. I don't know why Utah people are just tall. So this is a bubble. But what percentage of men are 6 foot or taller? Most girls would be like, oh, like 1 in 5, 1 in 4. It's like 14%. 14% of men are 6 foot or taller in the U.S. It's like 1 or 2 out of every 10 guys. Just this statistics. All right, and then what percentage of men make 6 figures or more? Like maybe like one in every 3 people. It's 21%. And granted, take into account that both these statistics are including married men. And obviously girls don't want to marry married men already or date married men, right? So if you take into account single men, then that drastically drops. So just statistics here. The thing is, you can want what you want, but you gotta face reality too. All right, and then the biggest. Well, you know what the biggest dating app of all? It's not Hinge. It's not Tinder. It's not Bumble. It's not even Mutual. Probably us people. It's you know it. You already know it. You're on it every day. I'm on it every day. I'm live on it right now. Instagram. That is the ultimate dating app. Just because the DMs, the availability that people have to be seen out there, especially attractive women, very high. There's a lot of very high value men that will see a lot of attractive women, invite them on stuff. Ultimate dating app. And think about it. Even if you have a blind date or to set someone up, even if you just meet someone for the first time, what are you doing immediately after you're having the interaction with? Especially if you're like interested in the person, look them up on Instagram. Ultimate dating app, Instagram. All right. But there's problems with this, unfortunately. It's kind of like made dating a lot more difficult just because you have unlimited options, availability anywhere. You're not think about our parents or grandparents back in the day, their dating pool was literally the people in their town, especially if they lived in a tiny town with 500 people. It's literally like the 20 girls or the 30 girls that were in that town. Like, think about most people have gone on dates with like way more than 30 girls or 30 guys, like new people, new first dates, hundreds probably. So just like the availability of people, and specifically it does play into the favor of women, just because women, honestly, they can just be attractive and beautiful, and they can get the attention of very high value guys just because they're attractive and beautiful. And the vice versa, guys can show off that like they have a lot of money, they have a lot of status, they have a good physique, they have all this clout, and they can use that to their advantage as well. They can get with these other girls that are very attractive that most other guys can't. So, but there's a higher percentage of beautiful women, attractive women, that are desirable versus attractive men that are desirable, especially on social media. Example of, there's this one girl, it's like one of the first girls to like hit a million followers on Instagram. She was from this like super small town in the like middle of the Midwest. No one knew about her. Social media didn't exist. No one would know about her. She would have married the doctor or the vet, the what's the person that goes in the farm, the pharmacy guy. I forget what the term for that is, but that guy, whoever like had the most education, was making the most money, maybe like a couple $100,000 a year. But nowadays, she was able to get the attention through Instagram. All these people with private jets, yachts, millions, billions of dollars are living in this like New York City, San Francisco, Houston, Miami, all these big cities that would like fly her out and stuff. And just because of social media and specifically Instagram, she got all that influence and all that attention just from this app. So that's kind of what happens with these apps. It's just like the way how it is, and that's how you have to navigate the dating marketplace now. Like, guys, if you don't have an Instagram, you got to have an Instagram. And honestly, most girls do. Excuse me. And it's just the way how it is. I mean, there's some people who are like, oh, I can do without Instagram, I can do without social media. Cool, yeah, go ahead. Like, it's not going to increase your chances of meeting someone. Same with the dating apps. Like, hate them all you want, but they're going to increase your odds of meeting the person that you want to be with and you want to date. They increase the amount of people the potential to date. Just how it is. Got to use the tools to your advantage. Just like the internet. I mean, there's people that could be totally, I'm not going to use the internet, I'm not going to do anything. They have a business. Not using the internet now, they're out of business. They're probably out of business for a while now. You have to adapt and you have to use the tools that you have. But that basically wraps up what I talked about. Man, that was a lot of stuff, and hopefully people didn't get triggered by some stuff I said. Honestly, a lot of it's the truth. A lot of it's backed by statistics. I'm a big believer in statistics and like the reality of the world, and I think more people need to be like that. And the thing is, like, I'm open to all different points of views. If someone has a different opinion, please let me know. Maybe we can like hop on a live and we can have a discussion. I think that's how things progress, is people have an opinion and an idea on one side and people have it on the other side. People unfortunately get triggered by the other side too much, and they're like, oh, like I hate that person, like solely because they think this type of thing, rather than, hey, they're not neither a good person necessarily or a bad person, but like, hey, let's have a discussion. There's probably a reason why you think that way. And based on my experiences and based off the statistics, this is a lot of the things that I think, in my opinion, on them. So, yeah, if anyone has any questions, just let me know. Hour is up, and yeah, hopefully everyone has a good night. And like I said, trying to make you guys stronger, smarter, healthier, wealthier. So check these videos out on Instagram. I'll probably post on Facebook, and then definitely YouTube. And check out my YouTube. Eventually, it might get to the point where I cut these up in clips and stuff, but we'll see. And shout out to the GOAT Kenny G in the chat. You're my man. We got to hang out sometime. All right. Good night.